Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. Today is August 4th, 2021. So far, the week has been very uneventful for the S&P 500. We see it's basically just consolidating. And is it getting ready to break out or break down? In this video, we're going to take a look at the price action and also the market internal and the market sentiment and see what they are telling us. Stay tuned. Let's take a look at the intraday action here. Today, you can see that was gapped down and pretty much traded in a range of somewhere around 14 points throughout the session. And it is a inside day, and comparing to yesterday, it was a outside day, and it was a more of a trending day. And you can see also today, the up-down volume ratio was in favor of the down volume at minus 3.3. There was 3.3 times more down volume than up volume, and the VIX is sitting at 18.04. And the put-call ratio is 0.52. The advanced decline with the decliner outnumbered the advancer by 1,178. And here is a daily chart of the sentiment. As you can see, it's sitting at it closed at 17.97. And the put-call ratio 0.52. So you can see on Monday, it was a outside day on a down day that engulfed the Friday's range. And yesterday, we have a outside day engulfing Monday's range, but it was an up day. And then today, we print a small candle here, which is a inside day. Now, a lot of people or some people might interpret this as a megaphone and say, well, we're going to be looking for some sort of breakout. But to me, it's basically still in a range here. So yeah, you're going to be break something, either going to break out on the upside or break it on the downside. So we just have to keep an eye on that for potential price movement here. Basically been chopping for a week and a half or 2 weeks already. So eventually it's gonna break one way or the other. And here you can see the up-down volume ratio was minus 3.2 today. Monday, it was a little bit better, minus 1.3. But Monday was a down day, and yesterday on the up day, it was positive 1.9. And similarly for the advanced decline on Monday, the decliner led the advancer by 229. Yesterday, the advancer led the decliner by 603, and today the decliner outnumbered the advancer by 1,125. New York Stock Exchange, new high, new low. The new 52-week high still outnumbered the 52-week low by 112. So it's holding above that 100 level. And by the way, I'm not sure you noticed it or not. Yesterday, the S&P 500 actually closed with a new all-time closing high, because you look at that, yesterday it was it closed at 4423.15, and back here the previous all-time closing high is 4422.30. So it closed just slightly above that. And also notice the negative divergence on the cumulative advanced decline. On July 29, it was 22,770, and yesterday with a new all-time closing high was 22,691, so 9 lower than the previous high, this pivot high here. So we got a little bit of a negative divergence. Now for the NASDAQ market throughout this week, it's been up, and also you see that the up-down volume ratio was positive on Monday by a margin of 1.7 in favor of up volume, and on Tuesday it was 1.29. But today, the NASDAQ market was at the NASDAQ 100 was actually up 21 point, almost 22 point of 0.15%. And the up-down volume ratio was minus 1.12 in favor of down volume. So there were more down volume than up volume. And the advanced decline, the decliner outnumbered the advancer by 1,291. And although Monday was an up day, and the advancers only outnumbered the decliner by 99. And yesterday, with the NASDAQ 100 closed up again, the decliner outnumbered the advancer by 122. So as you can see, we are seeing some negative divergence here. on the up-down volume ratio as well as on the advanced decline. And the new 52-week high versus to 52-week low, we are seeing a slight positive, 19 new 52-week high, more 52-week high than 52-week low. And yesterday it was 10. Monday it was 87 in favor of 52-week high. Now notice yesterday when the S&P 500 closed a new closing high, the Nasdaq 100 did not. Although today it closed positive, it still did not close with a new closing high. This is the closing high, all-time closing high here made back on July 26th. But as you can see, we continue to see this negative divergence on the advanced decline. And although this did not make a new high, but it did make a higher high. Or today is an update with with more decliner than advancers. Now let's go take a look at the price action of the S&P 500 and the other indexes. Now let's take a look at the price action of the S&P 500. You can see on Monday we saw this engulfing candle here. Right? Took out the Friday's candle. Then yesterday we saw this engulfing candle. Right? And then today we got this little inside candle. So it's basically like a sandwich. Right. So what we're going to see is we'll be able to break above this, this consolidation area, this balance area, and move up to this 4450. Essentially, come up to this 200% extension, 4452.91. Well, we'll come back down and essentially come back and retest this 4232 level, and even possibly, essentially come down and take out this 4257. And then this 4232, see what that hold. If it doesn't, then we're basically looking for the possibility of coming back down to these pivot low and these level down here, filling out this this gap here at 4020.63. Now there is also another small gap here as well. Remember we mentioned that in earlier video, so kind of keep an eye on that gap here, somewhere around 4122 area and 4115. And here for the Nasdaq 100, it also pretty much in a balance area, chopping around here, waiting to either go break out and move to a new high, or come back down and possibly get into this trend line here, get below this 14,400, and possibly come back down and test this 14,073. And the Russell 2000 is still holding above this 2195 area. But the key thing is we want to see would it be able to get back above this 2297. So if it breaks below the 2195, we'd be looking at the possibility of coming down to 2075. And the Dow Jones Transportation is still holding this 14,242. Again, we're basically looking for the Dow Jones Transportation to see would it be able to come up and reclaim this 15,000. If it is unable to do that and it breaks this 14,242, we're essentially looking for this lower level here at 13,656. And the Dow Jones Industrial is also kind of hovering near this all-time closing high, 35,150. So we'll see would it be able to break above that and move into a new high and come up to test this 35,500, or we'll be holding back down and come back down to this 33,012 area here. And just do a quick look of the ETF for the S&P 500, the SPY. You can see that it is sitting right at this point of control, this composite point of control, somewhere around 439.50 area. So remember, we are looking at this possibility of this balance area to see would it break this balance area on the upside or on the downside. And if it come down, then we essentially are looking for this 432, 429 area. And here for the QQQ, it is up near the value area high in this composite volume profile. Here is the composite point of control somewhere down here at 363.5 or so. So basically you're looking for it to see will it break out to a new high or pull back down and test this value area low at 362.5. Then if it could not hold this balance area, and the breakdown from this balance area, then we're basically looking for a larger composite point of control down here at 355, 354.5. Let's take a look at the heat map. As you noticed here, a lot of red, so not too many stock is actually advancing today. The semiconductor is pretty strong today. So you see financial is under pressure, healthcare a little bit under pressure, and also the industrial, consumer stable, energy, material, utility a little bit, and discretionary. So you can see that the bond market is relatively weak today. And we take a look at the heat map for the NASDAQ 100. You can see that here's the semiconductors. Most of the semiconductor is green. So Moderna, just recently got added to the SP 500. I guess it's still riding on that momentum. And looking at the relative strength of the sector and the other indexes relative to the S&P 500. In this case, we're using the ETF SPY, the S&P 500 ETF. So right now, we're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial daily chart here and the SPY daily chart. And this is the ratio between the Dow Jones Industrial and the SPY, the SPY. So as you can see, the ratio is going down. So that means the Dow Jones Industrial is underperformed versus the S&P 500. And here's the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100. You can see been relatively flat, but it is making a little bit of a positive move here. So today, the tech heavy sector is outperformed the S&P 500. And here's IWM, the Russell 2000 underperformed. So it's been coming down pretty flat right here. GLT, the bond is making a little bit of a headway. It seems like it's making a little bit of a turnaround and pointing upwards. So be careful here, people. Don't interpret the interest rate, the 10-year rate being low is a good thing. The market is pricing in that rate to be low, is probably thinking that the economy is not going to be as strong as people think. And here's GLD with the gold ETF is still relatively flat, not doing much. Same with the silver. Utility is also making a little bit of a headway to a higher level. So again, this kind of give you a sign that the market participants are getting a bit defensive, and that's the same reason why they are moving into bond. In the financial, relatively flat. And here's the XLK, the technology ETF. So it's still holding up here, pretty much flat, although it's make a little bit of a positive move today. But here is the strength, the SMH, the semiconductor ETF. See how it sloping up here. And we saw that on the heat map that it show us that the today's activity been basically concentrated in some of the semiconductor stock. And here's healthcare is also shooting up, right? So maybe it's the Delta variant and the the COVID-19 spread again might prompt the healthcare to be strong, and energy continue to be weak. The home builder is actually strong, coming up from its low here back in middle of July. And here's retail. Retail is coming down, and the weakness kind of get carried over to the consumer discretionary. You can see that coming down also. And same thing on the consumer stable. So I guess maybe people is running out of money here. Now let's take a look at the market profile for the E-mini S&P 500. As you can see that there is a little bit of a balance area around this level here between 44.10 and maybe somewhere around 43.90 area. So right now it is sitting inside of this balance area. So we could see possibly push up and take out this all-time high or pull high from July 29, and that will give us another new all-time high for the S&P 500. Then also could push down and clear up a lot of these unfinished business here. Right? There's a lot of single print and also a lot of point control that is untagged. So kind of keep an eye on that. Basically, right now it is inside of this range here. So eventually, we're basically looking for a breakout or a breakdown. And if it's going to be a breakdown, I wouldn't be surprised in a day or two it will clear out all these unfinished business and possibly get down below the 4,000 level and clean up some of these unfinished business down here. So there you have it, just for a midweek quick update. Basically, we're looking at some very uneventful price action, just kind of chopping around within a small range. So we're basically looking for some sort of a breakout from that consolidation or this balance area, either on the upside to push into a new all-time high, or come back down on the downside and test some of the prior low. So just be careful. It is in the summer month, and the activity is going to be light. So when there's a lack of liquidity, then there's going to be a increase of volatility. So be sure to smash the thumbs up and help me promote and share this video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.